Babe, you are not ready for the chaos that just exploded around Gypsy Rose Blanchard, because what went down on that live stream might have been the most unintentional self-destruction we've ever seen, and it came from her own camp. Buckle up, because the tea is scorching, messy, and full of wild twists. So here's what happened. Bree, one of Gypsy's closest allies, went live thinking she was about to do some serious damage control. She jumped into a stream hosted by Justin, a creator who's become known for calling out Gypsy's inconsistencies. Now everyone watching thought this was going to be a showdown, Bree clapping back, shutting him down with facts, and defending Gypsy's name. But, oh no. She did the exact opposite. And the internet is still trying to figure out if Bree was genuinely trying to help, or if this was one of the most chaotic accidental exposés we've seen in a minute. From the second Bree opened her mouth, things were off. She kicked off the live with this bold claim that she knows the real Gypsy in ways the public could never understand, and then she hit us with the line that really set the tone. She said the public doesn't deserve to know Gypsy. That part gave everyone pause. Because when someone says people aren't worthy of the truth, it usually means there's something big being hidden. It came off less like loyalty and more like gatekeeping some serious skeletons. But that was just the warm-up. Bree then launched into a long, drawn-out emotional monologue that felt more like she was acting out a movie than sharing facts. She painted Gypsy as a lifelong victim, someone who never had a moment of control over her own life, from DD's twisted grip on her childhood to her time behind bars. According to Bree, Gypsy was just a puppet being yanked around by everyone around her. But here's where the internet collectively raised an eyebrow, because sure, Gypsy absolutely went through unimaginable abuse under DD, but let's not forget, she also made deliberate, calculated decisions. Especially when it came to planning her mother's murder. Acting like she was never in control? That's not just a stretch, that's full-blown historical revision. And then Bree made things really messy. She claimed that Gypsy was basically forced into the spotlight after prison, that the media, fans, and internet pressured her into becoming an advocate for trauma survivors. But let's not play dumb here. Gypsy didn't just quietly step into that role, she announced it. Loudly. She told fans to expect big things. She called advocacy her mission. There were emails, recorded convos, and even social media posts where she talked about launching organizations and creating real support systems for others. That wasn't something people shoved on her, she chose it.
I wish y'all knew Gypsy. I really wish y'all knew Gypsy, even though y'all don't deserve to know her. So here's the thing. So Gypsy was basically in prison her entire life because she lived with her mom, who made her be inside of her asshole like 24/7, and then she went to prison for 8.5 years, and then she got out, and then the world demanded that she become an advocate like the day after she was released, not like give her something.
I love how she says the world demanded that she be an advocate when no, Gypsy said she wanted to be an advocate. Example number 1, I'm going to go over here. It's mentioned 376 times in her document. Right here she says, still want to be an advocate. Have opened up about my life in the hopes that I could be an advocate for abused children with parents of MPB. Also do want to be an advocate for children. Right underneath that, signed by Gypsy Rose. And this goes on and on and on. So Bree with no facts, shush your mouth because you're wrong.
Except, none of it happened. Once she got out, instead of doing any of the work she talked about, Gypsy dove headfirst into TikTok fame. Selfies, dances, brand deals, tea-spilling lives, everything but advocacy. The big plans she promised? Completely ghosted. The mission she hyped up for years? Nowhere to be found. And now, with her public image collapsing and people calling her out left and right, what does she do? She goes dark, deletes her accounts, and sends in Bree like a one-woman cleanup crew. But babe, here's the problem, Bree is not built for this. She's emotional. She's reactive. She doesn't come with receipts, just vibes and shaky defenses. Instead of calming the storm, she's fueling it. Every time she opens her mouth, she drops another accidental truth bomb that sends Gypsy's credibility crashing further. And then came the part that made jaws drop. Bree decided to go there, into Gypsy's medical history. She claimed that Gypsy was medically abused as early as 3.5 months old. Heavy, right? But it got worse. When Justin brought up the documented microdeletion disorder in GYPSY's records, something that could actually explain some of the medical treatments DD pushed, Bree shut him down. She snapped back that it was just microcephaly, and then boldly claimed it doesn't affect health at all. Now that's just wrong. Microcephaly absolutely has health implications: smaller brain size, developmental delays, potential cognitive issues. It's a real thing. So by trying to deny it, Bree might have accidentally admitted that DD was treating actual medical conditions, undermining the whole narrative she was desperately trying to protect.
She has microcephaly. That does not affect her health. No,
So now it's confirmed that she allegedly has microcephaly? Oh my god. Okay, microdeletion is one thing. Microcephaly is a really big deal. There's severities or degrees or whatever, but yeah, microcephaly is a big deal. And for her to say, oh, she doesn't have any medical problems from it, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm also not dumb. Though I don't have a child that has microcephaly, I do know children who have microcephaly, and it's a lot. Like, it's a full-time job. And now I can see why her mom had to put up with a lot of bullshit with this crazy motherfucking kid she had.
That's the gag. Bree was trying to shield GYPSY, but every word out of her mouth was chipping away at the carefully crafted image they've spent months building. And it's not just bad PR, it's unraveling the entire storyline they've sold to the public. Bree went and doubled down with a twist so bold it had people blinking at their screens like, did she really just say that? Yup. She claimed, without flinching, that she personally reviewed every single one of GYPSY's medical records. And not just a few hundred pages. We're talking 8,000 to 10,000 files. Thousands. Let that sink in. She sat there on live, chest puffed out, acting like she was some kind of medical investigator, casually skimming through confidential documents like they were bedtime stories. No credentials, no receipts, no explanation, just full confidence like she had a PhD in gypsyology. Girl, be serious. Real medical professionals take months to go through files like that, and even they need teams, research tools, and expertise to break it all down. Meanwhile, Bree out here making it sound like she just curled up on a Sunday afternoon and read through a decade of complex, technical records with a cup of tea.
Ooh, Bree, you just admitted something and you didn't even realize it. So let's go over it.
I mean, I don't know where in the timeline this started. Like, all I know, like 3.5 months old. I mean, but also she does have the micro delete. Okay, and how does that affect her? She has microcephaly. That does not affect her health. No, the microdeletion, like everything. No, I know. I'm saying what comes from the microdeletion. She has so the only way. Okay, so this is the thing with the microdeletion. People love to like take the microdeletion, the list of the things that you can have, and say, oh, GYPSY has this, and that. Well, you can't do that because Fancy Maselli, that's the reason that people have medical records. She only released about 350 medical records. GYPSY has between 8,000 and 10,000 medical records. I have had the chance to go through all of those. You haven't, and neither has anyone else, except for Fancy Maselli. So people speak on GYPSY's medical history.
Not only did you just admit that she does indeed have the microdeletion, but you also came up here and let it be known that she does indeed have microcephaly. You also went on to say how you've seen so many more pages of her medical history than we have, and like, congratulations, but when did you get your doctorate degree? I'd really like to know, because that would really help me to understand how you think that you read all of that and understand it.
And the kicker? She's not even the one known to have access. That would be Fancy Marcelli, who has never claimed to have finished reviewing them all, and she's been working on them for over a year. So either Bree's got some supernatural speed reading powers no one knew about, or she's flat out bluffing. But she didn't stop there. All throughout the live, Bree kept leaning in like she was about to pull up the smoking gun. Her voice would rise, she'd pause dramatically, and say something like, I have the records. I've seen it all, like she was about to drop a bombshell that would shut everything down. And every time. Nothing. No screenshots, no file names, no even a peek at the corner of a page. Just vibes, noise, and performative confidence, hoping nobody noticed the lack of actual proof. And then, phew. She dropped the line that sent the whole chat spiraling. A diagnosis is just a medical opinion, she said. Dead serious. As if years of medical testing, lab results, and specialist evaluations were just suggestions. It was the kind of statement that made people sit up straight like, excuse me? Diagnoses are not just random guesses, they're based on actual science, evidence, and assessments. So when Bree said that, she didn't just sound uninformed, she obliterated her own credibility in one breath. Like, girl, are we just tossing out every doctor's evaluation now because it doesn't fit your fanfic? And the deeper the convo went, the wilder it got. When Justin brought up the actual plan to kill DD, the one GYPSY and Nick cooked up over weeks, Bree snapped. She got visibly flustered, raised her voice, and jumped into a defensive rant, swearing GYPSY never wanted it to happen. According to Bree, the entire murder plan came from Nick, and GYPSY was just some scared, confused girl who begged him not to go through with it.
When you say that GYPSY planned the whole thing, okay, here's the thing, like, I don't see it that way because of this.
You don't see it that way? When GYPSY was asked, whose idea was it to murder your mother? She said, mine. When asked, who initially brought up murdering your mother? She said, I did. She also said, I did talk him into it. When asked, who planned this murder? She said, I did. When asked, who bought the weapon? She said, I did. When asked, how did Nick get there? She said, I stole money from my mom and paid for him to get there. My point is, it really does not matter how you see it. It does not matter if Nick said he had some dark sixth side and that he would eventually murder somebody. Because at the end of the day, she facilitated the plan for him to murder DD. Your bias is showing, girly.
But that just doesn't line up with anything we've seen. The receipts say otherwise. The texts between GYPSY and Nick show her pushing it. Her giving the ultimatums. Her saying she'd leave him if he didn't do it. And this wasn't just impulsive, it was calculated. She helped plan it, picked the weapon, unlocked the door, arranged Nick's travel. She was all in. Even GYPSY herself has admitted to being part of the planning in past interviews. So this whole, she was just caught in it, angle? Doesn't fly. It's not just wrong, it's dangerously misleading.
What else you'll find?
GYPSY told Nick that she was going to offer up their own.
Oh my God! Did you not hear what I just
Nicholas,
said?
when she's 13.
You would understand that better if you read this video descriptions of Nick's, but y'all will skip those.
What is the description?
It's on my YouTube. Go look at it on my YouTube. Nobody ever wants to read it.
I don't know any other context to put them in. She wrote them.
She never wrote anything. This was a video.
From her word. That this is from.
No, it was a video. Audit. See, you literally know nothing. That was a video.
This was from forensic audit, Bree. You can sit there and tell me I don't know this. I don't know.
No. Okay. The reason you read it is because the police that had to summarize those videos. That's a summary of a video. That is not written by her. That's a summary of a video.
Are the police lying then? I mean, honestly.
No, you gotta. Okay, just like there was a video with.
What other context could you possibly put into that narrative?
You're not like I have all this information that you clearly don't have and you're not listening. And that's what you care about. Because if you read the video, there's a video where GYPSY describes how she's gonna grape Nick. But guess what? Before that video, there's a video where Nick tells her and demands her to make a video explaining how she would grape him. Like that, these are videos.
Similar fantasies. I read where she had her own great fantasies of her own and stuff that she was there was. I read.
Prove it. Show it and prove it. Prove it.
I can't pull up. I'm not from my laptop. I'm on a phone.
I can do it. I can do it. I can prove you wrong.
You're probably on your laptop. I don't have all the stuff ready.
Exactly. You don't have shit. But I can prove you wrong about everything.
It was like kind of an at the moment thing. I didn't come here with everything that I know. I read this with my own two eyes. It can be looked up.
You ready? You ready for the message that proves she didn't want to? Okay. I can't wait to be with you too, darling. But you know, if you want to wait for a sex, we have all day tomorrow, just so you know. And he says, no, don't forget you have to deal with that side of me before we have our fun. Because she even says, can you take it easy? And he says, not till we get to the hotel. She did not, it's so clear that she did not want to do what they did at that house. And no one gives a fuck about that.
But Bree wasn't done hitting new lows. She brought up an old, vile rumor that Nick allegedly wanted to assault DD's body after the murder. A disgusting, long-debunked claim that even Nick himself has publicly denounced multiple times. And yet here was Bree, dragging it back up again, all to make GYPSY look better by comparison. Like, sure, she planned a murder, but at least she didn't do that. That kind of defense? Sickening. manipulative, and completely unnecessary unless you're trying to distract from the actual facts. Because let's be real, Nick had issues. No one's denying that. But what Bree keeps skipping over is how GYPSY found him, leaned into those vulnerabilities, and used them to push forward a plan that would benefit her. This wasn't someone getting manipulated by a predator. This was someone using love, fear, and pressure to make him do the unthinkable. And Bree pretending like none of that happened? That's not misinformed, that's calculated deflection. It's spreading lies under the disguise of loyalty. The energy of that live stream, babe, was unhinged. Chaotic. Bree wasn't just emotional, she was combative. She yelled over Justin nonstop, steamrolling over questions, dodging facts, and spinning stories at full speed. It wasn't a conversation, it was a storm. A loud, messy meltdown that revealed way more than she intended. Because in trying so hard to protect GYPSY, all she really did was put a spotlight on every crack in the narrative. The yelling? Non-stop. Poor Justin could barely get a full sentence out before she was talking over him, cutting him off, or straight up screaming. Every time she got hit with a question she couldn't answer, she'd either raise her voice to drown it out or completely switch the topic like we wouldn't notice. It was full-on verbal gymnastics, and not the graceful kind. Bree made wild, sweeping claims like she had access to GYPSY's entire medical file, legal history, and even psychological evaluations, like she was some hybrid of a doctor, lawyer, therapist, and investigative journalist rolled into one chaotic live stream. At one point, it was honestly hard to tell if she thought she was GYPSY's friend or her personal defense team. She was throwing around terminology she clearly didn't understand, name-dropping court procedures like she was fresh out of law school, and acting like she'd spent years immersed in advocacy law and medical ethics. Spoiler, she hasn't. And yet, no proof. Not a single screenshot. No redacted pages. No file numbers. Not even a blurry corner of a document. Just shouting and shaky attitude. Every time Justin asked for something solid, she hit him with the same tired excuse, the public doesn't deserve the receipts. Girl, what? If you really had the truth, wouldn't you want to show it? Wouldn't you want to clear your friend's name with facts, not just vibes? That excuse alone was a walking red flag. When someone refuses to back up their claims but keeps insisting they have it all, what they're really doing is stalling. And Bree? She stalled for over an hour. That live wasn't about facts, it was about noise. Loud, emotional, deflective chaos. She wasn't there to have a real conversation. She was there to perform. And wow, did it show. The longer it went on, the more obvious it became, Bree didn't know what she was talking about. She was trying to play every expert role imaginable, doctor, therapist, legal analyst, advocate, PR rep, and failing miserably at all of them. In her desperate scramble to defend GYPSY, she didn't just weaken the argument, she tore it apart. She exposed just how out of her depth she was, and the worst part? She didn't even realize it. You could tell she genuinely thought she was winning that live, but all she did was make things 10 times worse. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. GYPSY's so-called PR circle is looking more like a full-blown circus at this point. Between Ken's live where he, yes, babe, seriously, was sniffing snow on camera while trying to defend GYPSY, and Bree's full-body meltdown filled with misinformation and fake credentials, her entire public strategy is burning down in real time. Like, how is this the team you send out to fix your image? They're not just failing, they're actively making GYPSY look worse. Let's talk about how insane that is. Ken and Bree are the faces of GYPSY's public defense right now. Ken, whose live stream became a meme before it even ended, and Bree, who tried to shout over reality while spewing conspiracy theories and claiming invisible receipts. Instead of putting out fires, they're lighting new ones. And the more they talk, the more people start thinking maybe the critics were right all along, and now GYPSY's gone silent. Social media? Deleted. Interviews? Cancelled. Public presence? Vanished. But this isn't giving strategic break, it's giving retreat. It's giving hide and hope the internet forgets. Except, the internet doesn't forget. People screen recorded that live. They clipped the contradictions. They caught the tone, the attitude, the lies. And they remember. Because Bree's meltdown didn't defend GYPSY, it exposed her. It gave people receipts, not in documents, but in behavior. It showed the world that GYPSY isn't surrounded by smart, strategic people, she's surrounded by loud, reckless ones who are just as messy as she is. Between Ken's clownery and Bree's unhinged rambling, her image is crashing fast. And here's the final twist, while GYPSY's gone silent, Bree is still spiraling. Which makes you wonder, why is she the one yelling into the void while GYPSY's completely checked out? Is this really loyalty, or is this just someone chasing clout with GYPSY's name? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because we need to talk about this one. Was Bree really defending GYPSY? Or did she just pull the curtain back on a story GYPSY's been trying to control for years? And why is GYPSY's biggest defender acting more emotional than GYPSY herself? Hit that like, smash subscribe, because babe, this story? It's nowhere near over. And trust me, it's only getting messier from here.